Military says it's investigating after 4 foreign aid workers were killed in Gaza from an Israeli airstrike. Workers were with World Central Kitchen. A Florida state Supreme Court ruling allows a new 6-week abortion ban to take effect at the end of the month, and the court okays a voter referendum for this November's election to decide whether abortion rights are enshrined in the Florida state constitution. The last USS Arizona battleship survivor of the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor has died. A quartermaster, Lou Conter, 102. This is ABC News. A prank that's making people gag.
Every year on April Fool's Day, one company does something that captures the country's attention, and this year it appears to be 7-Eleven.
Hi, would you like to try some Big Bite hot dog sparkling water?
Yes, Big Bite hot dog sparkling water. And while it's a joke, it appears 7-Eleven did actually make some of it and got workers in its corporate office to drink it.
Do you want more?
I'm okay.
They're not the only ones introducing a fake flavor this April Fool's Day. Olipop joked that it and Pringles were teaming up to make sour cream and onion soda. Sounds refreshing? Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
The FAA has revoked the license of a pilot who's allowed passengers on his 1940s-era biplane to climb out of the cockpit and walk onto the wings while he's doing aerial stunts. Michael Mason and his wife have apparently offered this experience for years for a price, at least $850, in Washington State and California. No parachute involved in the reckless adventure, by the way. Chuck Severson, ABC News.
Connect the dots. Would you dip into your retirement savings to make a loan to climate-polluting oil, coal, and gas companies? Well, you already have if you're a member of Wisconsin's public employee retirement system. Go to climatesafepensionswisconsin.org. Sign the petition. Common sense investments, not financing polluters. Future generations will thank you for visiting. That's climatesafepensionswisconsin.org.
Being blind doesn't always look how others may think.
Retinitis pigmentosa aimed to overwhelm my family.
It tried to cut me down.
I know where to find support and where I can be seen.
Tomorrow afternoon against the Twins. NBA, the Bucks in D.C. tomorrow night to face the Wizards after beating the Hawks in Atlanta 122-113. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 16 rebounds, 8 assists, 36 points.
We take him for granted. We really do. I thought he played as clean of a game as you can play.
That's Bucks head coach Doc Rivers. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. A mix of rain and snow tonight with temperatures remaining steady in the mid-30s. For tomorrow, rain and snow showers around, highs into the upper 30s. Then a winter storm watch is in effect Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday afternoon as the wind picks up with 6 to 12 inches of snow accumulation possible. Right now it's 33.
Hey, this is Aaron from the Todd Albaugh Show. Next stop on the What Makes Wisconsin Great Beer, Cheese, and Radio Tour with Todd and Trigby is UW La Crosse. Join us on Tuesday, noon to 2.
Broadcasting live statewide from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who binge watches TV for a living but doesn't get paid, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome to Nite Lite. Finally, I get to talk again on a microphone to people who love TV and films and just fun conversation as much as I do. Great to have you with me on this Monday night edition of Nite Lite. Hope everyone had a great Easter weekend. I'm not going to do that lame thing where I come out and make a joke like, about the show or about, Conrad having a skateboard accident over the weekend for a lame laugh because it's April Fool's Day. I'm just not that kind of person. I am going to get a perm. That's harmless. I don't like when people say like, oh, so-and-so died or did serious injury. That's just not even funny. But perms are always funny. Or a body wave. You ever had a perm, Conrad?
No, I have never had a perm.
Think about it.
I don't think I will, to be honest.
So another fun night of Nite Lite here. Got some great guests tonight. This always excites me. We have live music coming into the studio tonight. A group called On Stage for Cancer will be here performing in just a little bit. And then in the second hour, Mar Garvey will be here, a documentary film producer. She works for a great outfit out of Chicago that makes incredible documentaries. She is Wisconsin-based, out of Milwaukee, I believe. And we'll talk to her about some of the award-winning films she's been part of here in the second hour. This is April Fool's Day. Did you fall for any jokes today, Conrad?
Well, I guess I did fall for one, but it was unfair because it happened last week. The Big Bite.
Yeah, what the heck?
Hot dog water from 7-Eleven.
We both fell for that, but it's not even, it's like after the Curter Burger, I'll believe anything. I can believe there's hot dog water, and that was like March 26th. That's so lame.
They actually did make it, though, but only for consumption by their head office or, They got some people to actually drink it.
Suckers. That's just such a bad, it's like March 26th, I think that was. Maybe even the 25th. Oh, we're making hot dog water, and we ripped on it. We had fun with it. Oh, no, it's an April Fool's joke. Okay, well, that's really lame because you mentioned it a week ago. That's like not even a joke, and it's just stupid.
Well, there is one other one that I showed you just a second ago.
Yeah, tell us about that. That one was unsettling.
There's a soda. Well, not really soda. There's a probiotic soda called Olipop.
Okay.
And they posted on, I believe on their Instagram, that they're making a Pringles sour cream and onion Olipop.
Okay. Did they post it today?
They did post it today.
All right, that counts then.
Yeah.
I can go, ooh, that's gross. Oh, haha, April Fools. Maybe there will be an outcry, though, and people will want that flavor like they did the Curter Burger.
Yeah, sour cream and onion soda, that...
that
might make you actually throw up a little bit.
It would. It's terrible. But you know what? I never know what to drink, like what kind of beverage I should have when I'm having a certain potato chip. It's like white wine with seafood. What do I have when I have a plain Pringle? What kind of soda do I have? Like a raspberry? Or, and then this is like the
So it adds the flavor to the plain chip.
Yeah, it adds the
There you go.
So just get the sour cream and onion and have yourself a nice lemon seltzer. Yeah, that's so lame. And in fact, 7-Eleven should never be allowed. I'm going to make a citizen's request, not arrest, that they be forbidden from here on out to ever making an April Fool's joke again, because it's just stupid.
You can't do it a week earlier.
You can't.
No.
And that's a real thing. There's worse stuff in 7-Eleven that you can buy than hot dog water. It's all going to kill you. Never having a Slurpee again. Today is also, it's April Fool's Day. It's also National Tomfooleries Day. I didn't know fooleries was plural, but it's kind of the same thing as April Fool's Day. They're sort of piggybacking. So
I think it's a more fun way to say April Fool's Day.
Tomfoolery. I prefer Ass Jackery, but tomfoolery will work. I was on Don Rosen's show today on WRJN in the morning show. He does such a great job down there. And down there, like wherever his show would be. It's geographic. That's the reason Don does such a good show. No, it would be great wherever he is. Don is great. And we talked about comedy today. And I used the phrase Ass Jackery. I said, we can have some general Ass Jackery on your show this morning. And he said, what's Ass Jackery? Like he thought that was an actual thing. I was like, no, Don, it's just like us horsing around. He's like, oh, okay. He is a big time comedy fan. He's going to be on our show. He'll be on Nite Lite 2 weeks from tomorrow. Don's a lot of fun, and he is a huge comedy fan. Remember, he's the one that went to grade school with Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And they were big buds. So that'll be fun to have Don on in a couple weeks. Our question tonight, given the fact that it's April Fool's Day, have you ever fallen for an April Fool's joke? If so, please share. What's the worst one you've fallen for? I have to admit, I typically fall for one every year. I'll get up, I'll forget what day it is, and one of my kids will say something, or my wife. Saw a mouse last night. What? April Fools. Ha, ha, ha. And then your blood pressure spikes right out of bed. That's what happens. And so I'll admit, I fall for one just about every year. So let us know if you have fallen for an April Fool's joke. It could be a really bad one, a lame one. What do you think of them? Let us know. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Have you been tricked by tomfoolery or April foolery on this day of April 1st? Let me know, and we'll discuss it. Coming up in just a bit, we're going to have On Stage for Cancer here in the studio. That'll be fun. I love having live performers on the show, so stick around for that. They're great. They were here last. It was same people, but a different group name because it was a Christmas show they did, and they were here in December, or actually it was January, I think, and they were just great. So they'll be along shortly. Conrad, tell the good people how they can watch Nite Lite.
Of course, yeah. So we're on Facebook under WGBW and under Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba. On YouTube, we're under Civic Media, and on Twitter or X, we're under WGBW.
Outstanding. And the best way to do it, folks, you can text us on the number. Anything we're talking about tonight, please feel free to weigh in. Love hearing from you guys throughout the course of the show at 855-752-4842, or text us on the app. It's so easy to use the Civic Media app. Our show is on statewide, so you just open the app. You can click on any one of the stations. Occasionally, there might be a Bucks game or a Brewers game on, but we have to figure that out, Conrad, and let people know. We'll have to navigate that because we are on statewide, but some nights people might not be able to get us in certain markets. So we'll give you guys some information about that coming quick. But it is very easy to text off the app. There's a little text icon. You just push it and let us know what your thoughts are, whether it's answering the question, if you have a question for a guest, whatever it is, be part of Nite Lite every night here on Civic Media. As I mentioned, we are broadcasting statewide from downtown Green Bay here at WGBW. Beautiful city deck landing, what is this, 10 inches of snow or something like that? Is that what we're getting?
I think it might be an April Fool's joke.
They can't do that on Apple weather. That would be talk about risking your integrity, your meteorologic, I don't even know how to say that. That's terrible.
I'm hoping it's an April Fool's joke.
Oh man, I hope it is too, but I don't think it is. A lot of stuff going on this week. The Wisconsin Film Festival kicks off on April 4th. That's Thursday night down in Madison. I know Milwaukee's got a film festival coming up, I believe, the following week. So if you live in Oconomowoc, you can take full advantage of each film festival. But we will have a lot of film festival guests on the show this week talking about their movies and letting you know where they will be playing. So did you see, this is just, I don't like to talk about serious, hard news too much because I know this show is supposed to be a place where people come to chill out. But this Rashee Rice, did you hear about this car accident?
Yeah, I actually saw the video of what happens. It's just crazy.
That guy should never be allowed to drive again.
Yeah, definitely not.
And Michael B. Jordan was caught drag racing in LA about a month and a half ago. I'm sorry. You're driving a weapon, and their kids got this Rashee Rice. There were 2 people in each car, I guess. And then the 4 of them just walked away. Like they didn't check on anybody.
Yeah.
Based on what I read anyway, there were kids that got hurt, not seriously as I understand it, unless something has developed since then. Have you heard anything about that?
I heard that finally his lawyer got out a statement. I didn't read the statement, but I saw a notification about it. So I'll have to read that up and then see what happens.
Yeah, that I can't. It happens sometimes when I'm driving home here at night. I get the racers coming by me on 43, and it's like they drive so fast, my whole car shakes.
Yeah,
and you're driving a weapon. I'm sorry. If you get caught driving that fast, see ya. Sorry. You don't get to drive. You're endangering everybody's life.
I don't think I told you this, but it was a couple weeks ago when it was kind of nice out. And you know how down in here, downtown,
yeah,
they have those cars that, they'll kind of race around this area.
Yeah.
I got stuck behind a group of 20 cars that were all doing the same thing.
Man.
Like I was trying to get out, but I couldn't get my car out because of all the cars that were coming. And they weren't going slow either.
So you're like sitting there thinking I could die on the way home. That is just insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just, you can Uber for the rest of your life. You can't be trusted in society. You want to be a clown, go live in the country. You can drive as fast as you want, but not right here in civilization. Crazy. I watched a couple things this weekend. I've been watching Shogun. I don't know if anybody's been watching Shogun. Would love to hear from you if you have been. I'm kind of sick of subtitles, to be honest. There were a lot of films that use subtitles in this year's Oscars. And I don't mind subtitles, but it does take away from your ability to view the cinematography and the scenery. It is a picture show, and I like to be able to enjoy the picture. But if something's good enough, obviously the subtitles are worth it. Shogun is really good so far. A little hard to follow at first, but it's a recommendation. And I want to hear yours too. Talk a little NCAA tournament. None of my teams. Somehow my bracket was busted 2 minutes after the opening tip-off of this year's NCAA tournament. And the one bracket I'm doing well in, I forgot to enter, but I filled the bracket out. So there you go. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk Sound of Music and maybe a little swingers. On Stage for Cancer coming up soon. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're quiet like a trail of heat coming round. I go to put my arm around you and you give me a look like I'm way out of bounds. Well, you let one of your board size, but lately when I look into your eyes, I'm going down.
This is the talk of Green Bay, WGBW.
People across Wisconsin are enjoying the rewards, stability, and flexibility of a career in healthcare. Why not you? Wish Caregiver Careers can get you started as a certified direct care professional. You'll learn the skills you need to make life better for older adults or people with a disability. All training is free and online. Plus, earn $500 in bonuses. Start your new career. Sign up today at wiscaregivercdcp.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
John Mino and Jim Schmidt.
Mino on the mayor and the mayor on a Thursday.
Wait a minute, that's a whole other show. He's been on my case all morning.
Oh my goodness.
Is this a family show?
I know. It's not that. He's just been on my case.
It'll be the only show in history that didn't have one listener.
Mino and the mayor, weekday mornings 6 till 9 on the talk of Green Bay.
came down with scurvy. I'm his evil twin filling in. That's what passes for an April Fool's joke. I cannot believe that. I'm so annoyed with 7-Eleven. It's just the worst. Not even, it's a non-joke.
Well, we just found out about it like 5 minutes ago, so we're both a little irritated about that.
It's true. All right. First text of the night. Our question, have you fallen for an April Fool's joke? That's the question tonight. Feel free to elaborate. I fall for one, like I said earlier, every year. Somebody in my family says something to me. One year, my daughter came in and says, Dad, there's 6 inches of snow on the ground. And I was like, what? And it was supposed to be like 60 and sunny. And I sprang out of bed to see what was the matter. Sure enough, I go out there and it's beautiful. That's the kind I fall for the little stuff. That's probably the worst one I've fallen for was the big snowstorm one. Aunt Carla checking in from the 608 says, training next week. Is that an April Fool's joke, Carla? Are you not training next week?
The picture says...
I can't see the picture. Okay.
It says breaking April 1st, 2024. Flight attendants must be required to know how to land an aircraft in the event of a pilot incapacitation. So
I don't think that's so far-fetched.
I think that's an April Fool's joke, but
get at it, Carla. Come on. Our lives are in your hand. That's hilarious. So you got a lot more training, it sounds like, to do, Carla. I know she's telling us about her training last week. And then Carol Lynn checking in on the stream says, no such thing as a Sunday drive anymore, in reference to our conversation before the break about people drag racing and going 120 miles an hour. And with Rasheed Rice, it was a Corvette racing a Lamborghini on city streets. Take their driver's licenses away. That's terrible. You can't do it. And people say, oh, it's just minor injuries. Well, they got lucky. He's a great football player. He's not an IndyCar driver. He doesn't know what he's doing. Rasheed, if you're out there, give us a call. We need to talk you through this. You never know. So On Stage for Cancer coming up in studio in just a few minutes. That'll be fun, folks. Live music here on Nite Lite tonight. So this is an anniversary for the film The Sound of Music, which dropped years and years ago. I want to say it was 1965. And one of the most famous soundtracks ever. And we'll play a few seconds, actually, of a song that Julie Andrews made famous in this film with Christopher Plummer about taking care of children of a widower during World War II. Go ahead, Conrad.
That will bring us back to dough, oh, 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 dough! A deer, a female deer. Ray, a drop of golden sun. Me, a name I call myself. A long, long way to run. So, I need a pulling thread. La, a note to follow. So, tea, a drink of jam and bread. That will bring us back to dough. A deer, a female deer. Ray, a drop of golden sun. Me, a name I call myself. Mom, a long, long way to run. So I need a pulling thread. Long and new to follow. So tea, a drink of jam and bread. That will bring us back to dough. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, so do.
That's The Sound of Music, released on this day, 1965. What is that, 60 years, Conrad?
Yeah.
59. 59 years ago. It's the big 5-9. That is a wonderful song. So wholesome, so fun. Traipsing along the Swiss countryside. That's exactly what I needed to wash away the horrible April Fool's Day joke perpetuated on the American people by 7-Eleven. All right, we got a phone call. Conrad, who we got here?
Don Rosen.
Don Rosen's calling in?
Yeah.
Get out of town. He should be in bed. He hosts a morning show. How you doing, Don?
Good. I was just buying my $1 billion Powerball ticket, so I jumped out of the house to get it.
Oh, nice. You're due, man.
You'll want to be my new best friend when I get the $1 billion.
I want a taste, no question.
Okay, here was an April Fool's joke we pulled.
Okay.
I did this in the 90s. We had just had an FCC inspection, the Federal Communications Commission inspection at the radio station. Radio people fear nothing except the FCC because they can close you down.
Right.
And they give big fines. So we just had an inspection, and I gave the inspection. In other words, I took the FCC guy around the building. I wanted nobody to talk to him. I showed him what he wanted, and he left. Now, the owner of the station at the time was Tony Gazzana. I had him on the air with me this morning because we talk about it every April 1st. And he was away. He went home for the night. And about 2 weeks later, it was April 1st. I got some FCC letterhead from an old thing we had at the radio station. And I typed up a letter pursuant to the field inspection on whatever, March so-and-so. Here are the results. And I listed all the results. And I said, there'll be a fine that has to be paid of $20,000 to the FCC. Now, that was easy enough to put that in a FedEx envelope and put in his door. But I had to make sure he found out about it at home. So I knew one of our salespeople was a real snoop. So I'm looking at the studio door, and she walks in the building, goes right to his mailbox, and opens up the FedEx envelope that's not even addressed to her. And she called him up right away and said, you can't believe this. You're getting fined $20,000. I can't believe this. And it was an FCC letterhead. Tony was having a heart attack at home. He lived in Milwaukee. He jumped in his car. He came down, and he said the whole time, he said, how am I going to pay this? This is $20,000. How am I going to pay this? How did we fail? So he comes to the building, and he reads the whole letter. At the end of the letter, I put on there, I don't want to hear any of your sappy excuses. Pay up. So he knew it was a fake. But this guy was having a heart attack. So then he got even and put a letter out to the staff and said, we just got fined $20,000. We'll have to make up that money by cutting salaries in half for the next 6 months.
Oh, my gosh.
And that was his end of the joke. But that was the only one I ever pulled. And he said to this day, he still, on April 1st, has heart palpitations thinking about that letter.
See, Don, you have guts. If I were to do that to someone, they would get in their car and get in a car accident on the way to the station to deal with my April Fool's joke. That's why I could never do something like that.
It's the only one I've ever done in my life.
It's beautiful.
And I he still called me talking every single April 1st. We call each other on the phone. Today I actually put him on the air. He was the owner of the radio station. And, $20,000 is a lot to spend on a fine. I mean, you can spend it on tower repairs. You can do, but just to throw it away.
Absolutely.
On a fine,
and I think if you win the $1 billion, send the guy a $20,000 just as a a gesture of good faith. I wish you luck with your ticket there, buddy.
5 tickets I bought.
5. All right, there you go. I want a taste though. We're friends now. You're coming on the show in a couple of weeks, and we'll talk to you.
I thought it was April 9th. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I'll email you. I got to check with the K-Man here. We'll figure it out.
Okay, man.
Okay, buddy. Thanks for the call, Don.
Okay.
That's Don Rosa, and check out his morning show if you're in Southeast Wisconsin on WRJN. Great guy and a terrific radio host. Coming up next, On Stage for Cancer, here live in the studio on Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
To the talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home of Mino and the Mayor.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. The Coast Guard's opened a temporary alternate channel for boats involved in clearing debris from the Baltimore Highway Bridge collapse. On cutting and lifting with a crane sections of the fallen span, Maryland Governor Wes Moore.
The scale of this project, to be clear, it is enormous. And even the small lifts are huge.
The Israeli military says it's investigating after 4 foreign aid workers were killed in Gaza from an Israeli airstrike. Workers were with World Central Kitchen. A Florida state Supreme Court ruling allows a new 6-week abortion ban to take effect at the end of the month, and the court okays a voter referendum for this November's election to decide whether abortion rights are enshrined in the Florida state constitution. The last USS Arizona battleship survivor of the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor has died. Quartermaster Lou Conter, 102. This is ABC News.
your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Wisconsin Congressman Mike Gallagher is reportedly taking a job with a data security business. Those reports say Gallagher is joining the firm Palantir, which focuses on national and international security. One of Gallagher's main causes was concerns about the security risks posed by the social media app TikTok. Gallagher leaves Congress on the 19th. Children in Wisconsin from low-income homes will get nutritious food this summer. Wisconsin is taking part in the federal Summer Electronic Benefit Transfer Program. Experts say kids are getting more active again since the pandemic.
Our kids are now getting outdoors more, and they need to have that energy to be able to keep that up.
Shelley Forner is with the Hunger Task Force of La Crosse. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Now here's what you need to know closer to home.
Earl Ingram.
Let's talk a little bit about what public education did to move this nation forward and continues to do even though it's under assault.
The one place where we get to live out and practice what it means to be a citizen in a democratic institution. The attacks on public education are really attacks on democracy.
The Earl Ingram Show, weekday mornings 8 to 10 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. A mix of rain and snow tonight with temperatures remaining steady in the mid-30s. For tomorrow, rain and snow showers around, highs into the upper 30s. Then a winter storm watch is in effect Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday afternoon as the wind picks up with 6 to 12 inches of snow accumulation possible. Right now it's 33.
The Todd Alba Show.
Former state senator and majority leader in the state senate, Dale Schultz.
Legislators aren't doing their job. But what I would ask all the listeners is, have you taken stock in your legislator? Do they really deserve to be there? Do they really want to be there? In a polite way, ask them to come and share a vision, listen to you, and say we want regular communication. And I think if we do that, the system will serve us very well.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. The Talk of Green Bay, WGBW.
Are you and your family weather ready? I'm Terry Barr, producer of the Slice of Wisconsin series. Wisconsin weather is ever changing, and all of us with the Civic Media Radio Network believe awareness can make a difference during any season or any storm. Our weather ready stories will offer the information you need. Here's meteorologist Brittany Merlot.
We're springing into what's typically severe weather season. After some big swings with tornadoes and fire dangers during the winter, this is a good time to remind you to review your safety plan and show it off as a part of a Safe Place Selfie Day. First, what are your local weather worries? Tornadoes, flooding, wildfires? Second, where is your safe place from any of those weather hazards? Your basement or a shelter? Now, go take a selfie in one of your safe locations. Post it to social media, including hashtag Safe Place Selfie Day on Wednesday, April 3rd. It's a fun way to emphasize the seriousness of being weather ready. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot.
Did you miss what's hot from Wisconsin to Hollywood? Listen to Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba podcast on civicmedia.us. You can always listen through Spotify, Apple Podcast, or the Civic Media app. Take Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba anywhere you go. Once again, here is your host, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back. It is April Fool's Day, an April Fool's Day edition of Nite Lite. Great to have you with me on this Monday night. Our question tonight, if you want to get in on the fun, have you fallen for an April Fool's Day joke? If so, you can elaborate in as much detail as you like. Like I said, I fall for them every year. They're small ones. When I get out of bed, the first thing I hear is there was a mouse, whatever, just enough to get my blood pressure going first thing in the morning. Not a major thing, but I fall for every year. Somebody in my house says something and I fall for it. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. If you want to tell us your April Fool's Day story. Jim from Appleton in the 920 says, the last time I fell hard for an April Fool's joke was in the early 2000s. It happened that the first fell on a Friday. There was a popular talk radio guy that talks sports and politics. On his show, the last one of the week, he announced that it was his last show because he was running for governor. He spent the last half hour of his show convincingly telling his audience what he wanted to do as governor. Monday afternoon, when his show started, it was a canned laugh track with April Fools being said under the laughter. I love that. I don't know if I'm ready for governor, maybe state assembly. I wanted to hear like the crazy platforms and his pitches. That's a great text, though, Jim. Thank you. The voices you hear in the studio are my next guests, and they're really fun people because they've been here before. At least two of you have. Kim Shefchick, Chris Piat, and Adam Corbett are here from On Stage for Cancer.
Yes.
Did I get that right?
Hi.
You have a lot of names in this group because it's Audrey's Angels, On Stage for Cancer. It's sort of, so I'm glad I got that right. It was purely by chance.
You did well.
Either way, it's great to have Kim and Chris back. You guys were here with
Doctors in Recital.
Doctors in Recital. Doctors on Stage for Recital, if you call it. If we want to do a hybrid. No, but you guys were so great. I'm so glad you're back because that was really fun having you guys sing in the studio. And Adam is here with the cello. Cello, Adam.
Cello there.
Do you have you heard those jokes like ad
so many
nauseum?
times, all the time. All the time.
It's great to have you here. Tell us a little bit about what you guys are promoting here today.
Well, we are a new nonprofit, and it's kind of a love child of sorts between a lot of different ideas that came together through some unfortunate things that all happened. Probably 8-9 years ago, a close family member was diagnosed with an aggressive stage 4 breast cancer. And at that time, I was contemplating, we really should do something to help support people with these aggressive forms of cancer that kind of people give up, people lose hope. And how do we help generate hope? And I thought, it'd be really cool to do something like Doctors in Recital. But then, something like COVID happened and Doctors in Recital also went on pause. And then this past year, a good friend of ours, Audrey Nowak, was diagnosed with an aggressive form of breast cancer. And Chris and I are good friends and like to sing together. And we thought, it'd be fun to do a benefit for our friend Audrey. And then I went, I have this brainchild that I've been babysitting and keeping away in the closet. And I decided to bring it out and let's do it. And so we started this nonprofit On Stage for Cancer. And our first benefit is going to be Audrey's Angels. That's what Audrey calls her team of supporters. And Audrey is a musician, very talented violinist, an educator, the fine arts coordinator at Howard Swamico School District. Helped work with a lot of really amazing musicians like Adam through different symphonies and organizations. And so we were really fortunate to have a lot of angels who wanted to get behind her. And so it was perfect timing and really fortuitous too that the Widener had an available date. And because of their love and support of Audrey are also giving us that space to have this concert. So it's a pretty amazing turn of events that really were dark times, but are turning into a shining light. So we our logo is a bright light shining on stage for cancer. And we also have worked with Audrey's family for our kind of logo for our event because it's all about creating hope through a community and love and using music. And so again, our nonprofit is going to focus on people who work in the gig economy. So you probably know a lot of people too through your career that, when you work in the arts and entertainment, you don't often have a safety net to fall back on. And so when people get cancer or even have a major surgery and are kind of stuck, they don't always have those traditional benefits. So ongoing, 75% of the proceeds from our event this year will go to Audrey, but then 25% is going to help spearhead this organization. I know I went on kind of a long tangent about that.
No,
but
that was everything that you needed to say, though. So I'm good. I don't really have to contribute.
I just want to say, Kim, you seem to make all your side hustles seem to be helping your suffering friends. That's really incredible. I'm sorry you have so many friends who are suffering, but you sound like a really take the bull by the horns. Good for you. And I want to tell everybody listening, when you setting up a non-for-profit, it's just as difficult as setting up an LLC or whatever. It's a lot of hoops to jump through. So the fact that you guys are doing this the work that goes into it, and for you not to really, you're not going to get rich off this.
No.
You're
Well,
going to go sing.
You ready for a bomb drop? The
Yeah.
person who inspired this is on our board. She's still alive. She was told 3 to 6 months. And she is our treasurer because does bookkeeping. And my brother, who's an attorney, has helped us too. So we've got enough connections. And obviously, again, the talented musicians who are donating their time and talent to put on what's really going to be a fun event.
Oh, yeah.
So we're still gearing up. We're looking for sponsors. We're selling tickets. We're really excited to make this event not just raise money, but a really good time.
Yeah.
And we love, as you know, to make music together with our friends.
The group is On Stage for Cancer. This show is called Audrey's Angels. It's Kim Shefchick, Adam Korber, and Chris Piat. Chris, your husband, could not make it. He told me off the air he's suffering. He had a burst appendix that he was walking around with it for a couple weeks, and you guys were giving him a hard time.
We were. We love you, Paul.
He was here singing a couple months ago. Did it affect his voice? That's what I want to know.
The pain makes it stronger, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't it give you that
There's a lot of
credo?
happening.
Yeah.
Right. He can't sing from the appendix anymore.
He can't.
But
It's gone.
okay.
But the
Maybe
guitar
it'll help.
playing is he hasn't been able to play his guitar.
Yeah, he's a great guitarist. So, okay, so and the show is when? Tell us when the show is.
Saturday, June 1st.
Okay,
at
you're
the
still
Wider.
looking for sponsors.
We are. We're still accepting sponsors. We've got several from our community, some great businesses that are really gearing up. And again, not just supporting that gig economy, but entrepreneurs too. So moving forward, we're hoping to help support people who are really in need when they don't have that traditional backup.
I think it might be fate that you guys are here tonight because I was cleaning up my dresser tonight. I've got $9 that has been sitting in my top dresser drawer. I didn't know how to spend it.
This
Do you
is amazing.
divest? Do you put it in the stock market? It's just sitting there. It's yours.
Absolutely. We are so honored.
I just
We are
want to
so
get the ball
honored.
rolling.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is exactly how the whole process has been working.
It is. It
Things
is.
have just been falling into place. It is fate. Things just we know that we're doing the right thing because of how it's all coming together.
$9 at a time. Oh, I like that motto. Think about it. Think about it.
We need another water bottle sticker now.
There you go.
All right. You guys are going to play something. We got a cello
that's
here.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got
Is it just cello or is there singing too?
We're going to do cello this time.
Just cello.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
Because the concert's going to be like a plethora, a menagerie of stuff. There's
Get
cello
this-
choir, string ensemble, some
love the strings.
piano, vocal. What else? There was a weird thing, wasn't there? Eclectic. Sorry, not weird.
Weird.
What was the?
Where'd you find this guy?
What was the eclectic thing?
The eclectic thing, that my favorite thing is, Jimmy Fallon does the classroom instruments. So
Yeah.
we're going to do a classroom instruments song.
Okay.
So you got to come check it out. It's going
All
to be
right.
amazing. One of a kind. One of a kind.
That'll be good.
Outstanding. All right, let's hear some. This is This is Adam Korber on the cello.
That's me.
Take it away, whatever
I've
you need there.
got- You want something jazzy or something classical?
Well, I'm hoping you can go a solid 2 hours. So why don't you pace yourself and no.
About 8 minutes.
Let's start slow. Never open with a showstopper.
All right, cool.
So let's start with whatever you feel, buddy.
I'm ready for you.
Okay. This is
So
Adam
this-
Korber
can
on
you
the
hear me
cello.
okay? Everybody can hear me okay?
Conrad, we good?
Got me?
Yeah, we'll have to test. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
All right, sweet.
Beautiful.
So this is Bach. Johann Sebastian Bach wrote 6 cello suites. There's the famous one.
Yeah.
This is not that.
He opened
this
the
is
showstopper.
this is the prelude to the 3rd suite, and it opens up with the angels descending from heaven.
Oh, love it.
So I thought it was
Nice.
appropriate.
Absolutely. All right. That was wow. That was great.
Yeah.
That's
There's a lot of notes.
Adam Korber, ladies and gentlemen, on the cello, and Kim turning pages.
Yes.
Of course.
And,
I was a little stressed, but I hit it.
That would be stressful.
Oh man,
That would be stressful.
Let me tell you, I have had some bad page turns in my day. Have you ever had a bad
Page turning is the worst thing.
It's
on Facebook.
super
You don't want to screw it
stressful.
up.
All right,
stressful.
let's come back with that. All right, and I have questions about the cello. That was spectacular.
Absolutely.
We'll have more
Happy
with
to.
On Stage for Cancer. They're going to perform again. Don't go away. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
She said, son, please beware. There's a thing called love, and it's everywhere. And she told me it can break your heart and put you in misery. Since I met this little woman, I feel it's happened to me. And I'm telling you, it's too late to turn back now. I believe I'm falling in love.
To the talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for the Todd Allball Show.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
The Todd Alba Show.
Former state senator and majority leader in the state Senate, Dale Schultz.
Legislators aren't doing their job. But what I would ask all the listeners is, have you taken stock in your legislator? Do they really deserve to be there? Do they really want to be there? In a polite way, ask them to come and share a vision, listen to you, and say we want regular communication. And I think if we do that, the system will serve us very well.
Get down a little bit with the pop music.
Dig it.
We are back with On Stage for Cancer. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite, broadcasting statewide in our beautiful state of Wisconsin from downtown Green Bay. Great to have you guys here. Kim Chef Chick. I always want to call you Steph Chick. Why is that?
Oh, I like that. I think you should change
Steph
it.
Chick?
Steph Chick.
Done.
I used to say Chefenheimer because I thought that was kind of fun too, but Steph Chick.
I've been called the Schwabinator, which I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'll be honest. But Chef Chick, Chris Piat, and Adam Corcoran. That was Adam you just heard on the cello. How long does it take you to get that good at the cello?
A lot of years.
How long?
I have played cello for 20 years, since I was in fourth grade.
So fourth grade. All right. And
I'm still making mistakes. So
I know, but I didn't say anything.
A lifetime.
No, he's
I think.
great.
Oh, so Pablo Casals is a famous cellist. He's dead now. He's been dead for years. But he at 98 years old or something ridiculous like this. He was asked why do you still practice? Why do you still? Because I think I'm beginning to make progress.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like the war of attrition.
Well, I'm looking. I'm watching you play.
I just love it.
You're looking at the music. You have no frets like a guitar.
Nope.
You just are kind of guesstimating, not guesstimating because you're obviously very good. There you go.
Showing that
live box.
Stream. Yeah.
And it must be easy to make mistakes. It must be so
very
subtle. If you move your finger one little bit, it just drives me crazy. I don't know how you do it.
A lot of careful motion and attention to detail. That's the best way I can describe it to you.
And I know I don't mean to compare it to the guitar, but can you ever just pick that up and play something without looking at music? Like you just fool around with it? And,
sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll make something up when I play the next thing.
All right.
Make it up.
And you do whatever you want. That's, you know what?
There's a section for it.
When you were playing that,
yeah.
All I could think about, it reminds me of Vivaldi and the Four Seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that is great checking my weather app music. Because I don't know what to expect. Is that terrible? Weather apps should have
the fact
music
that
like
we
that
got
playing.
2 inches of snow today, or at least in Appleton, we got 2 inches. Wet, heavy grossness. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's what?
It's coming too.
Maybe
ridiculous.
it's one. I don't know. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but
no, there's more.
There's a large amount of snow.
It's on the way.
It was really not great.
And as much as I hate hearing that, we got some great background music for it. So where else have you played? Have you played with symphonies, and where do you typically play?
I am the principal cellist for Green Bay Civic Symphony. So I've played with them. I've played with Widener Phil. I've played in Italy. I've played in London. I've played in Paris. I've played with niche famous cello world people, like Mike Block. But nobody probably knows
the Blockster. Sure,
Mike Block. He's great. Love him to pieces.
Maybe the Blockinator.
Sad?
He might be the Blockinator.
But people should know who that is. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
It's such a niche.
I have played and met a number of wonderful people because of this piece of wood.
Isn't that great?
And the effort and the years.
And it sounds like you've seen some amazing places
too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I love your statement. First of all, tell us your mission statement, Kim. Again, you said you guys have a mission statement. I love this.
I thought you were talking about me. I was like, what are you talking about?
It's so funny. I actually was like, wow, Corber has a mission statement.
It's like, I didn't know I had a statement.
You have to play it. You have to play the statement on the cello.
Well, sure, I'll do that later.
Yeah, but make it easy for you.
Yeah, we are we're all about thrivers. So a lot of people in the cancer thriver world like to be called thrivers instead of survivors. So we like to think that we're empowering cancer thrivers one note at a time, get
I
it?
love it.
Ba-dum-bum. And we also love the phrase harmonizing hope, because we have learned, especially in the last year and a half, well, actually, through COVID, without hope, everything is pointless. And
Yeah.
so when you have a diagnosis like stage 4 cancer or something that's quite aggressive, it's easy to lose hope. But when you have hope, you can do anything and you're empowered. So that's one of our big mottos as well, which is a big part of our friend Audrey and what she's going through is having the hope to continue on.
And, and with hope, you keep swinging at least, right? Because otherwise,
absolutely.
that's so great. And I was going to ask you about that, but you just answered it.
Yeah.
Cancer thrivers. I love
Thrivers,
that. Is
yeah.
that something? Is that an original?
No, that's if you get again, if unfortunately we've gotten to know a lot of cancer in the last 10 years, but there's a real movement amongst the cancer thrivers to be considered thrivers, because to survive your disease is unfortunately not often the end for these people. They have to live with the consequences of their disease and their treatment. They might have had radiation or chemo that has changed their bodies forever, but they're choosing to thrive instead of just survive.
That is so great. The show is June 1st at the Widener Center. It's On Stage for Cancer, and this benefit is for your friend Audrey. And
Yep, 75% for Audrey and 25% to kind of kick off our nonprofit, our source for that support financially to the future thrivers.
yeah. Can you give us, Chris, give us a little of your background. We met you when you were here in January.
Yeah.
But you and your husband sang so beautifully. All of you did, and he played the guitar. But give us a little bit of your background too, if you would.
I am a music teacher in De Pere, and so I live in music every day and really just love what we do, because music is what heals, right? Music gives hope, music heals, music gives you a purpose. And so I think using the gifts that we've been given is something that Kim and I have always done, whether it be for our own enjoyment or, gigging out or singing at church, or now creating these different organizations and being part of nonprofits is something that we're really passionate about. So my day gig is teaching, but our baby, like she said, is working with using the gifts we have to help other people.
What do you prefer? Would you rather teach, or would you? And I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
Uh-oh.
But I can
no.
do that. My wife's a teacher, so
No, everything is based off of teaching and learning, right? So
Yeah.
we're all teachers in
Exactly.
some facet, and without that, we are nothing. So the main thing is to teach, and we can teach through our nonprofit as well.
Well said.
And both of these people,
Yeah.
not only they teach like the people that nobody wants to hang out with, middle schoolers.
Middle school teachers?
Middle
Middle schoolers. Okay.
They're like
sorry.
special.
You're going to get different answers if you. All right.
Maybe
We're going to have more with On Stage for Cancer coming up next. We're going to hear something. Adam's going to play another beautiful piece on the cello, and we're going to have all sorts of fun here at Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Here she comes now, walking with a love that's so fine, never to be mine, no matter how I try. You'll never walk alone.
The Frozen Tundra, Green Bay's choice for news talk. 1590 AM and 97.9 FM WGBW.
For the longest time, it was hard for me to even get out of the house, much less do a backside 180. It took me a bit to understand what was going on, but eventually I learned I had anxiety. Now I'm getting help for it and feeling so much better. Sure, some days are better than others, but the whole thing about getting out of the house, that's not really an issue anymore.
Mental health care is working to see what it can do for you at mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay. WGBW 1590 AM Denmark. W250CV Green Bay. And always streaming on the Civic Media app.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Former President Trump has posted the $175 million bond in New York as a condition of him appealing the nearly $500 million penalty for his financial fraud civil trial. Also in the Trump New York criminal trial on alleged election fraud and porn star hush money, Judge Merchan has just expanded the gag order on Mr. Trump to cover witnesses, court employees, and the judges and district attorney's family. Prosecutors say Mr. Trump's attacks made potential witnesses afraid for their safety. The former president can still talk about the judge and the DA. Safety of salvage crews and rescuers is a top priority at the Baltimore Bridge collapse, as Maryland Governor Wes Moore.
And my directive is to complete this mission with no injuries and no casualties. We've already lost 6 Marylanders to this crisis.
Wall Street major indexes ended mixed. This is ABC News. Beginning today, most fast food workers in California will be paid at least $20 an hour. Opponents say the pay increase will affect customers.
Buying a burger at McDonald's, a burrito at Chipotle, or a drink at Starbucks, they all could be more expensive here in California. They're among the companies saying prices may go up as a result of the new law in effect today. Alex Johnson owns 10 Auntie Anne's and Cinnabon stores.
This bill has really hit our operations hard. We're no longer hiring. We're not backfilling positions.
He says the law will cost him about $500,000 a year, but supporters of the bill say fast food companies have done well in recent years and should absorb the cost. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Also starting today, recreational marijuana is legal in Germany. The new law allows adults to carry nearly an ounce and allows individuals to grow up to 3 plants. People gathered at Berlin's Brandenburg Gate for a smoke-in to celebrate the legalization. Tonight's Powerball drawing is over $1 billion. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Connect the dots. Would you dip into your retirement savings to make a loan to climate-polluting oil, coal, and gas companies? Well, you already have if you're a member of Wisconsin's Public Employee Retirement System. Go to climatesafepensionswisconsin.org. Sign the petition. Common sense investments, not financing polluters. Future generations will thank you for visiting. That's climatesafepensionswisconsin.org.
As you age, you may have questions about finding transportation, healthy meals, or other services around your home and in your community. And the Elder Care Locator has the answers at 1-800-677-1116. Our caring advisors can connect you to trustworthy local experts and the support you need to age well at home. Real people, real assistance, and real connections are just a phone call away with the Elder Care Locator. 1-800-677-1116.
This is your hometown radio, refreshed, keeping you informed, entertained, and connected locally across the Civic Media Network.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Donald Trump campaigns in Wisconsin Tuesday night. His national press secretary won't say whether the former president will announce any political endorsements in Green Bay. Caroline Levitt tells WISN TV's Upfront that Trump will unveil his agenda. Both Trump and President Biden have already clinched their party's nominations. The Wisconsin primary is also Tuesday. Children in Wisconsin from low-income homes will get nutritious food this summer. Wisconsin will take part in the federal Summer Electronic Benefit Transfer Program. Qualifying families will get preloaded debit cards to use to buy groceries.
We've got families with low incomes, most of them working, by the way, but just not able to put that extra meal on the table for kids who are at home during the summer months.
Shelley Fortner is with the Hunger Task Force of La Crosse. I'm Terry Bell, and this is Civic Media News.
The Brewers beat the Mets. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Milwaukee Brewers completing a 3-game sweep of the Mets with a 4-1 win in New York. RBI doubles from William Contreras and rookie Jackson Churio. Solid pitching from the bullpen and starter Colin Ray getting the win.
Ray, Hudson, and Piamps were flawless today, and Colin really worked through a big situation there. I don't know, the fourth maybe. I mean, the kid has been the unsung hero. He really has. And he threw 5 great innings for us, and then Hudson went out there and he was a rock.
Brewers manager Pat Murray Murphy, the season home opener tomorrow against the Twins. NBA, the Bucks head to D.C. to play the Wizards tomorrow night. Guard Patrick Beverley talked about his decision to keep playing, even though doctors say he needs surgery on his right wrist.
I don't know. I got the news after I say something about the torn ligament. I felt okay. Obviously, you got to listen to the doctors, so they contacted the hand specialist. You got a torn ligament. It kind of shocked me for a minute. Threw me off. No way I was sitting out getting surgery. I'm gonna play through it.
That's the Bucks' Pat Beverley. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. A mix of rain and snow tonight with temperatures remaining steady in the mid-30s. For tomorrow, rain and snow showers around, highs into the upper 30s. Then a winter storm watch is in effect Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday afternoon as the wind picks up with 6 to 12 inches of snow accumulation possible. Right now it's 33.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who once planted evidence so he could make a citizen's arrest, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Nite Lite. So great to have you with me on this Monday night pre-storm. I'm still hoping that is every weather forecaster in America has gotten together to play an April Fool's joke, but it sounds like
good call.
Sounds like it's happening. It is not too late to get in on our question of the day. What is the worst April Fool's joke you've fallen for? Have you fallen for an April Fool's joke? You can send On Stage for Cancer a question. Please be part of the show. Our phone number where you can text us is 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Gotten some great texts already. Coming up later in the hour, documentarian Mar Garvey joins me. That will be fun too. But right now, we've got a few more minutes with On Stage for Cancer, Kim Sheffick, Chef Chick. Kim, just get me in a headlock and start wailing on me. I can't. And I've got Schwaba. I can relate to you because everybody gets my name wrong. I have to spell my name for every person I'm on the phone with.
It's okay.
Chef Chick.
I went to the matriarch of the family to ask, how do you pronounce this name? And even she said, I have no idea.
That's
so therefore, you say it however you want.
All right.
It's all good.
Kim. Not Chef Chick. I think I like that the best. It's just hard. It's not hard to say. It's just, it doesn't roll out. I get, yeah. Whereas Chris Piat,
it just pops right out.
Pops right out. Adam Korber.
It rolls a little bit.
It rolls a little bit. It's great having
Makes
you guys
you
here tonight. The show is June 1st at the Widener Center, On Stage for Cancer, Audrey's Angels. You guys are still looking for sponsors. There's still seats available. We'll have to have you back on before the event too and see where you guys are at. I know your Doctors in Recital was a big success.
Yes.
You were here last time before that. Tell us how that went.
It went awesome.
Yeah.
We didn't quite hit a sellout at the Widener, but it was pretty full. And
Nice.
we had a great crowd. We had a great night. Probably, I think the best show that we've had
right?
performance-wise. I mean, there was actually a standing ovation mid-show for one of the performances. And then at the end, I had so many people like, it was their first time coming and they just couldn't believe how good it was. You know, like I think people hear Doctors in Recital, like how good are these people thinking they are? But it was a really good show and we raised a good amount of money for some really wonderful charities and made a difference again by making music. That's our tagline for that.
Yeah, no, that's great. And you have doctors who can actually sing. And I'm sure that's a much more successful event than musicians in surgery. Where
yeah, well,
think?
It's funny because if you are good at, fixing something in your garage, you could probably figure out half
Brain
the stuff
surgery?
that, well, maybe not brain surgery, but
I'd repair a torn ACL though. I'm not even handy though.
sure. Can you use like a hammer, chisel? You got it.
I can use whatever, but I have malpractice insurance too, which is
Yeah,
important.
that's
so
good. That's good.
for a common citizen. So Adam, before we hear you play again, disc golf. That's a great hobby for a guy who plays the cello.
I love it so much. It's the best thing ever.
And you've played Frisbee Ultimate, which to me is the greatest game that's ever been created.
It's similar.
Constant motion.
Yeah.
But disc golf is just throwing the disc, then you walk. It's like actual golf, right? Like
it's more golfy. You're still like, throwing a disc, which truly is the best pastime, is throwing a disc.
Yeah.
Right. That's the real fun part. And watching it float and all that kind of, that's the fun part, right? If you like the competitive nature of it, then you can play Ultimate, but then you got to be able to sprint up and down the field and all that kind of, right? There's limitations. And then you get to disc golf. That's a solo sport. You can do it in winter. I play in winter.
Nice.
It's fun.
That is nice. Yeah.
It's crazy, but we do it. It's a blast. I love it. Found it during the whole COVID time because it was the safe way to interact with people at the time. And
that's
okay, great. Sure.
That's what we did with Ultimate, where I live. There's a group. It's like this little community, and we probably shouldn't have been playing Ultimate, but we're like, well, we're outside at least. Sure. So we played it, and there is nothing more fun, even for a guy who doesn't run that fast, to run down a Frisbee and catch it. It's
absolutely.
I love that game.
I've never played. Is this like soccer, right? Where you're kind of passing it?
More like it's like football, but if they catch the football, but you gotta stop in place. And then the entire team runs up, and then you
have to
keep
throw
going,
it, relay it to them.
Yeah.
So and then there's no dribbling the
no. If you drop it, the other team picks it and goes the other way. You can't play touch football after playing Ultimate because the thrill, it's constant motion.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so much fun. And the first time you play every year, you feel like you are going to die.
Zone defense will do that to you too. If you play zone defense, seriously, if you play zone defense in Ultimate, you are getting a workout.
Even zone defense,
just because,
right.
if you're playing cup in the cup, the little initial defensive line.
You're using words.
I know I'm going into jargon, and that's because I'm a Frisbee head. I like Frisbees, so it's fun. But if you're playing cup, it's literally constant sprinting. You don't stop. There's no stopping.
It's really fun.
This is probably why I've never played.
You could put ankle weights on everybody and make it even more fun.
Oh.
So So what do you have coming up next? We got to hear some.
So before I played some Bach, this is the other bookend. So we've got the 1600s and the 1700s, and now we've got a dude that's still alive. So Mark Summer is a cellist. He wrote this song called Julio. He's a famous member of the Turtle Island String Quartet for a number of years, but he is just known for doing jazzy type, rhythmically interesting stuff.
Very cool.
Oh gosh.
That's great. Let's
sure.
Whatever you just take it away.
It's gonna be great.
You've earned all of our trust as a cellist.
Good.
As a celloist.
I'm glad. Cellist.
What can we do? Do you need me to?
No.
Do you need a spotter?
Nope. We're good.
Okay.
All is well.
No page
No page turn?
No.
We're off the hook.
I'm off the hook.
Kim is off the hook. All right. This is Adam Korber on the cello.
Whoa, Nelly. Sorry about that. Whoa, gosh.
Wait a minute. Is "Whoa, Nelly" a typical thing to say after someone
No,
just?
that was a visceral, guttural reaction to how awful of a mistake I made, but that's okay.
You didn't hear it. Yeah, come on. That was outstanding.
Oh, that one just came out. Sorry about that.
No, that was great. Thank you, Adam.
Very cool.
You guys, this is so great. We have about 60 seconds left. Can you tell me what? Obviously, the music lifts the spirits of like your friend Audrey, but can you talk a little bit about how much it raises the spirits of those around people or their caretakers too? They need support too, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's a person in this world who hasn't felt emotionally connected to music. And I think it's probably the most unifying thing, unifying language, and unifying way to communicate emotion. And so when people are struggling, just to take a moment and appreciate somebody's amazing gift and know that it was put forth to bring people together. Like that's why people make music, is to bring people together. And it's like when you realize the chemistry of your body like actually starts running in the same sequence as people who are playing music together. Like we are meant to do music together. It's amazing.
That is a great it's a great out for this interview. Well said, Kim. You guys are great. Thank you. Your event is June 1st. It's On Stage for Cancer. Where can people find out more information?
Our website, On Stage for the number 4 Cancer. So On Stage
Computers
4 Cancer.
Are not a fad, folks. Check it out.
They aren't. It's no
On
April
Stage for
Fool's.
Cancer. All right. We wish you luck. Good luck getting the sponsors. Come back before the event. We'll do some more. This is so great. Thanks so much, you guys.
Yes, thank you.
Coming up in just a few minutes, Mark Garvey and more Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Don't see at all. I gotta get away, I don't
know where to go. It's hopeless, so I guess I'll leave it alone.
Well, I spent all that day fixing up to go somewhere.
Listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for Matinee on Air.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Mino and the Mayor.
You might remember this, Mr. Mayor. It was the first St. Patrick's Day parade in Green Bay, going down to the city deck. You were, in a wagon, and then the bagpiper and me were in front. I said to the bagpiper, "We got to stop right here in this tunnel and play Amazing Grace." And then I see the mayor stand up in the wagon, going, "Get it moving, get it moving."
Mino and the Mayor, weekday mornings 6 till 9 on the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW.
Welcome back. That was really fun. That was the second time Kim Shevchik has been in the studio with two different groups. Chris Piat was with her last time too. So much. They're so talented. And I can't believe, I love that this is a side hustle. And they have all this talent, just coming from people who do this as a side gig. It's just great. It was really fun. We'll have them back soon. Conrad, what did you learn?
That instrument looks really difficult.
It looks so difficult. It's difficult to watch a guy
Yeah.
play it. I mean, come on. Hey, you can still get in on tonight's question. Have you ever been April Fooled? What happened? Tell us about it. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC, or text us on the app. That's very easy too. We got a text from, Sherry texting from the 707 Northwest Coast, California. Sherry says, this tonight has been awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being part of the fun here on Nite Lite, like we try to have every night, regardless of what we're talking about. So Mark Garvey will be along soon. She's a great documentary filmmaker. She's made award-winning films, and she is going to be here in just a few minutes. In the meantime, Conrad, I feel like we had Todd Townsend on the show last week, a former Marquette baller, and I was so looking forward. He said, I'll come back if they make the Final Four. If they didn't make the Final Four. Who do you go for now? Like, Wisconsin's out.
NC State.
Absolutely NC State, right? Typically, I always go for the Big Ten. I was an Illinois fan growing up. Still like them, but not as much as the Badgers. They're gone. Literally, there was no one. And kind of like Creighton, I'm like, maybe I could cheer for Creighton. But, boy, NC State. And they look tough. They do not look like an 11 seed.
No, they don't. And they won their conference in the conference play. So good for them. Yeah, I mean, they're a fun team to watch.
Wait a minute. They won their conference.
Yeah, that's
the
how
tournament.
That's how they got the 11 seed. Actually.
Okay, that makes sense. That big dude.
He
is fun to watch, man.
And if you're watching the game, he has other hustles besides basketball.
Oh, really?
He actually owns vending machines.
Oh, love this guy.
Yeah. So that's one of his other hustles. So that's pretty cool.
Would love to own vending machines.
Right.
Where did I go wrong? Do his vending machines sell Big Bite hot dog water, though? That's what I want to know.
I don't think so. They should.
They should. Everybody should. So yeah, I guess I go for NC State. If not NC State, let's rank them. I'll go NC State, Purdue, and then who is it? Alabama?
Yeah, it's Alabama.
I'll go for UConn, then Alabama. Those are my 4 ranked.
Well, mine's gonna be NC State.
Yeah.
Then UConn, Alabama, then Purdue.
What? Whoa! Time out here, big time.
I cannot stand Purdue.
Really?
I just can't stand them.
Why? Who is it? Is it Matt Painter? Is it the look on his face he always has?
It's just that I'm a big Wisconsin fan. And every time they play each other, they get every call that they want. I just can't stand their team right now.
Okay, you got to admit that. What's his name?
Edie.
He
gets half of his points from the line. I'll say that.
I know, but like for a guy
good,
that's 7'4" to move like that.
No, he's good.
Insane. Well, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. I'm hoping NC State can pull it off. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be sweet. Hey, if you haven't checked out the news podcast, you got to do that. Civic Media, what they do is they put the news podcast on a link on every local Civic Media radio station webpage. So you go to the individual station. In this case, it would be WGBW. And it will say news podcast. Am I getting that right? It says news podcast. I don't want to steer people wrong.
Yeah, I believe so. It does.
Let's check that out. Let's go to the Google. And we'll get the
Let's
stations.
go to the Google.
That's right. All shows, stations. That's what we want.
So, this is good radio.
This is good radio. I cannot click on stations for some reason. It's head faking me. But you go there and you click and there's a link and you get all the news from the day. You get sports, weather. I do a Hollywood Minute that's there. And you get actual news. It's really cool. If you have not checked it out, you can get a whole day's worth of news in like 8 minutes. It's great.
Yeah,
so
you get the full entertainment beat, that full 3-minute one.
That's true. Right, because I do an entertainment minute that airs every top and bottom of the hour, correct?
Yep.
And then we wrap it all up and put it on the news podcast, and it's about 3 minutes of Hollywood fun. Some of them are jokes. Some of them are informative. Lou Gossett died last week, and that is a shame. He was such a fun actor. And I was on The Devil's Advocate last Friday at 3:30 with Crudy, and we talked about Crudy loves an officer and a gentleman. And Lou Gossett played the sergeant who was training all the new, I think they were the Navy. I haven't seen that movie in so long. Anyway, He played a scene on his show where Lou Gossett was sparring with Richard Gere, and he just kept beating him up and trying to get him to basically tap out of the military. And there's a scene where Richard Gere just yells, "I got no place left to go." And he's half crying, half angry. It is an awesome scene in what is a pretty good movie overall. But Lou Gossett will be missed. He was also in a great film called Diggstown, and he just had a lot of grit in his acting, so he will be missed. That was a shame. Got another text here from Aunt Carla checking in from the 608. Wisconsin brought down the Giant.
They did.
They did. I wish they.
I wish they won against Illinois, but
and that might have gotten them into the tournament, right? I mean, you think they would have made it anyway?
yeah, they would have made it. But if they would have
Yeah.
won, I think they would have got a little bit of a better seed. Not too much though.
Yeah,
I think
but
they would have got like a 4 instead of a 5.
Did you want them to have a better seed though?
Honestly, James Madison was a tough
Yeah,
matchup right away. So
I know, but
yeah, I would have actually
Yeah, I
would have
guess.
one of them.
So in this age, folks, of AI and all this stuff there's an interesting scene. I clipped this about a week ago for Matthew Broderick's birthday. Conrad, it's the War Games clip.
Yeah.
I found this fascinating because I had not seen the movie in years, but it's a great film. And Matthew Broderick is really good in it. Ali Sheedy plays his girlfriend. He's a kid who hacks into this guy's website, and it's a computer program that plays global warfare, and the computer talks to you. Very foreshadowing for AI, right? Do you have that? Let's play that, Conrad, if we have time.
You want to hear it talk?
Yeah.
I'll ask it how it feels. I'm fine. How are you?
Excellent. 15 long time. Can you explain the removal of your user account on June 23rd, 1973?
They must have told it he died. People sometimes make mistakes.
Yes, they do. How can I talk?
It's not a real voice. This box just interprets signals from the computer and turns them into sound.
Shall we play a game?
Oh.
I think I missed them.
Yeah, weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Love to. How about global thermonuclear war?
Wouldn't you prefer a good game of chess?
Later, let's play global thermonuclear war.
And they do. And it's a like he's a kid. He's a high school kid thinking that this computer is just kind of messing with him. Really fun movie. Check it out. War Games. Mark Garvey is up next. We're going to talk filmmaking. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
To the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home of Mino and the Mayor.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Former President Trump has posted the $175 million bond in New York as a condition of him appealing the nearly $500 million penalty for his financial fraud civil trial. Also in the Trump New York criminal trial on alleged election fraud and porn star hush money, Judge Merchan has just expanded the gag order on Mr. Trump to cover witnesses, court employees, and the judges and district attorney's family. Prosecutors say Mr. Trump's attacks made potential witnesses afraid for their safety. The former president can still talk about the judge and the DA. Safety of salvage crews and rescuers is a top priority at the Baltimore Bridge collapse, as Maryland Governor Wes Moore.
And my directive is to complete this mission with no injuries and no casualties. We've already lost 6 Marylanders to this crisis.
Wall Street major indexes ended mixed. This is ABC News.
You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Critics of President Biden's Gaza policy are urging Wisconsin Democrats to vote uninstructed in Tuesday's presidential primary. Activists say they're only focused on the primary for now.
This is an opportunity to make our demands clear and to let Joe Biden know that unless he has a serious change on policy in Gaza, his chances in November are bleak.
Hiba Muhammad of the group Listen to Wisconsin spoke with WISN TV's Up Front. The Milwaukee Brewers home opener is Tuesday, which figures because there'll be 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground. That total might be lower depending on how much rain's mixed with the snow. The American Family Field parking lot opens just after noon for tailgating. Gates to the ballpark open after 1, and the first pitch is at 3:10. And that's what you need to know. I'm Terry Bell, and this is Civic Media News.
The Todd Alba Show.
Former state senator, majority leader in the state senate, Dale Schultz.
Legislators aren't doing their job. But what I would ask all the listeners is, have you taken stock in your legislator? Do they really deserve to be there? Do they really want to be there? In a polite way, ask them to come and share a vision, listen to you, and say we want regular communication. And I think if we do that, the system will serve us very well.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. A mix of rain and snow tonight with temperatures remaining steady in the mid-30s. For tomorrow, rain and snow showers around, highs into the upper 30s. Then a winter storm watch is in effect Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday afternoon as the wind picks up with 6 to 12 inches of snow accumulation possible. Currently 35 degrees.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
This is the talk of Green Bay, WGBW.
Connect the dots. Would you dip into your retirement savings to make a loan to climate-polluting oil, coal, and gas companies? Well, you already have if you're a member of Wisconsin's public employee retirement system. Go to climatesafepensionswisconsin.org. Sign the petition. Common sense investments, not financing polluters. Future generations will thank you for visiting. That's climatesafepensionswisconsin.org.
Covering all the news that affects you with humor and a unique perspective. Matinaire on Air with Jane Matinaire. Weekdays 10 till noon on the Talk of Green Bay, 97.9 FM and 1590 AM WGBW, and on the Civic Media app.
You are never far away from your favorite radio station. We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. And if you missed your favorite show or game, listen to a podcast of it anytime on the app or our website, civicmedia.us.
Did you miss what's hot from Wisconsin to Hollywood? Listen to Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba podcast on civicmedia.us. You can always listen through Spotify, Apple Podcast, or the Civic Media app. Take Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba anywhere you go. Once again, here is your host, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back. Barreling through a Monday night here at Nite Lite. It's great to have you with me. Aunt Carla from Baraboo from the 608 says, officer and a gentleman, yes. Definitely one of Lou Gossett Jr.'s. He was so great in that. And then Jim from Appleton says Enemy Mine, which I totally forgot about. I saw that like as a kid. Dennis Quaid, I think, was the other, the sane Quaid was the other actor in that film. And now I'm curious. I'm going to have to go check that out again. Jim, thank you for the text. Yeah. So, boy, it's a fun show, huh, Conrad?
Yeah, definitely.
Did I wake you?
I think so.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I was nodding off now, but before that, I was having a really good time. Hey, and the fun continues. I'm very excited to welcome this next guest to Nite Lite. We have a mutual friend, and I feel like when you have a mutual friend with someone, you kind of already develop opinions about that person. And they're all good in this case. because our mutual friend is Cara Mulrooney, and she was nice enough to introduce me to our next guest, filmmaker Mar Garvey. Hey, Mar.
Hey, Pete, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you? Nice to meet you.
I'm great, you too. I hope I can live up to your expectations. That was a great entrance.
You have been highly regarded and spoken of, so there is no pressure. I know nobody could live up to
pressure,
Cara, but it's great to have you. Hey, have you ever been April Fooled, Mar?
I haven't. I was thinking of your question earlier, and I think, like everything I love about the States, the holiday is bigger here. So back in Ireland,
Okay.
it's not, it's just like a day. It's not a big deal. But so we haven't, not that I can think of. Maybe I have, and I haven't cottoned on that it was a joke yet.
Well, this is interesting because right now I hear your Irish brogue. I've been fooled so many times on April Fools in my life. I think you're fooling me right now, and you're really a girl from Milwaukee.
Deepest, darkest northwoods of Wisconsin. Yes.
I had no idea you were Irish. That's pretty cool. How long have you been here?
Fully Irish. I'm from County Clare, and I came, Pete, in November 2019 for a year to Chicago. And the idea for that year was I was going to meet people, go to things, and then the pandemic happened. So I was indoors for most of that. But I loved it anyway. So I went back to Ireland for a couple of months and then came back, and I've been here since 2021. So nearly 3 years. Yeah, which has gone by.
Wow. You must like it here.
I do. I love it. Love it.
Are you in Milwaukee, Mar, or
I'm
Chicago?
No, I'm in Milwaukee. I moved to Milwaukee summer 2022. So I've been here nearly 2 years.
Okay. There's a nice little Irish community in Milwaukee, right?
There is, and I was surprised by, the biggest Irish festival in the world is in Milwaukee. The Irish
How about
Fest.
that? Yeah.
That's wild to me.
Did you
Wild.
go?
I went 1 year,
Okay.
and I bought an Aran sweater. I feel like I'm never more Irish, Pete, than I am when I'm abroad. So I was.
Yeah, you're just another Irish person when you're over there, but here you're special, right?
Exactly. But it was great fun. It's a great festival if you get a chance to go.
Yeah, it is fun. I was there years ago, and now I don't do crowds, but
it's very crowded.
Yeah, it is in a good way. I mean, it's a really fun. The stages are great. The music is great. I grew up around my neighborhood in Chicago. Had tons of Irish dancers every March St. Patrick's Day. So yeah, I love St. Patrick's Day. But can you do the Irish jig?
I could.
I'm not going to ask you to do it right now.
I have to have lots of liquids beforehand, but I could. I mean, we all did it grown up, so it was very much like part of, I guess, elementary school age. I did it all myself. My sister did it. We won some trophies, but
wow, nice.
It would take some persuading for sure.
You know, the only way I could win a trophy for dancing is if I danced and then went and bought a trophy at a secondhand store that used to belong to someone else. That's the only way I would win a dancing trophy. And that's my friend Mike Toomey's joke.
Be celebrating yourself. Celebrate your own.
That's what. If I don't, who else will?
Why not?
So when we swapped messages the other day, Mar, you were at a film event in Chicago. Can you tell us about it? How did it go?
Sure, it was great. So I work for Cartemquin Films, and we're remote mostly, but the office is in Chicago. So Cartemquin Films is Chicago born and bred, and we're non-for-profit. So we partner and work with and go to lots of arts and community events that are not-for-profit. And shout out to the Stage for Cancer folks. That seems like an amazing org. I might travel up to see that in June. So we do partner with a lot of our films are like social justice. So there are a lot of orgs in Chicago doing that with screenings and plays and theater and all the rest of it. So yeah, we like to kind of show up for each other in that sense.
It is a really, really good outfit. I mean, I think I told you in our exchange that I've interviewed filmmakers from there on my TV gig, and everything they put out is just, like you said, whether it's social justice or bringing awareness to some type of issue I had no idea about. Such really good filmmakers. So what do you do there, Mar? Are you like kind of a studio executive?
I mean, studio executive in the sense of not-for-profit independent documentary person can be.
Well, yeah, someone's got to do it, right?
You're not wrong. I'm a producer there. So basically, the way we work is filmmakers come to us with an idea, and then, or they might be halfway into shooting their film, and we really support them in everything from developing the idea to see if it's a film. A lot of films don't need to be films, but a lot of our folks, it could be their first film, so they may not know the landscape. It could be their 10th film and they're making a different film, and every film is different. So we support all of that work through production, through distribution. So when their film is done, we figure out where the audience is, get it on various channels. And I support the filmmakers from soup to nuts. So from right when they come into us until they graduate. Yeah.
So how did you get connected? You live in Ireland. You spent, it sounds like most of your life there. How do you come to America, and within a couple of years you got a great gig at this hotshot outfit? How does that happen? Were you doing that in Ireland too?
I was doing that. I'm the personality hire, so it's what can you do? But yeah, so I took the scenic route to filmmaking, which I feel like a lot of people do. So I started off in Limerick, where I grew up, quite near County Clare. And then I went to London, lived in Sydney for a while, but I kind of always wanted to be in the States. And I feel like for filmmaking, you know, back in the day, it was the place to be, right? So there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of channels, a lot of folks doing it for a living. So decided to come over here. And then in I want to say 20, I mean, I don't know what time is anymore, but in 2018, so only a couple of years ago, Pete, I got in touch with the Chicago filmmaker, and she is just an incredible, Margaret Byrne is her name. And I worked with her for a month. So got a grant to work there. Ireland, shout out, we support the arts. Like, our government supports them. So came over here for a month and just loved Chicago. And I feel like, I mean, part of our mission too is, you know, supporting filmmakers in the Midwest, keeping talent in the Midwest. And I was just so impressed by the community of independent filmmakers in Chicago and beyond, like, and in Milwaukee and Madison and everywhere. And just decided to stay. Like, why don't I just try living here and give it a go? And yeah, I was just really lucky, met incredible people who worked in Cartemquin. I feel like a lot of folks in the film industry or in documentary anyway, in Chicago have worked or gone through or have had a film at Cartemquin. So yeah, I was looking up, and I started my job the 2nd of March, 2020. So I was extra lucky. Yeah. And I remember at the time, the office was going to be closed for like the 14 days. And I'm thinking, Americans are very dramatic. Like, this is all fine. But it wasn't anyway. But that's how I ended up. So just look and just kind of talking to people, putting myself out there, kind of saying what I wanted. And here I am in Milwaukee, living the dream.
That is so great. That is the voice, the whimsically Irish voice of Mar Garvey, my guest here at Nite Lite right now. She is a documentary filmmaker based in Milwaukee who works for Cartemquin. Did I say that right? Cartemquin, right? Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
So, Mar, what's the film community like in Milwaukee, would you say? Is it healthy, thriving?
Very healthy. Yeah. I feel like even from the kind of I've had the privilege to drop into a few classes at a couple of the colleges here. Like, there's incredible talent coming out student wise. We just want to keep them here and not have them go to New York or LA or wherever, or even to Chicago. Let's keep them in Wisconsin.
Right.
And even like all the way up to the Milwaukee Film Festival is happening next week or weekend after next, on the 11th. And I've just met some incredible folks there. And one of the reasons I actually chose Milwaukee, because I was coming up and down to Milwaukee, were the people I met in the film industry, like Susan Kearns, Cara Ogburn from our own mutual friend, Cara Mulroney. So it's just thriving, I feel like. And it's not known yet. So I feel like, keeping folks here, making the films here, that's how we keep the jobs here and keep the talent here.
Very well said. You have a couple of films. The Milwaukee Film Festival is just outstanding too, by the way. You have a couple films that are premiering there, as I understand it, in a couple of weeks. Can you talk about those?
Right, so they're both Wisconsin premieres, I believe. The films have been doing the rounds for the last few months. So we have Bike Vessel, which is Eric Seal's film. That's got 3 screenings. It's one of our favorites. And then we also have No One Asked You, a doc that's got 2 screenings. Root Lightman directed that. And Susan Kern, who's in Milwaukee, was co-producer in that, and had a lot of Milwaukee folks working on it. So that'll be kind of a bit of a homecoming in some sense. So yeah, it's thrilling, but it's always thrilling to see the films that, you know, it takes a long time to make a film. I feel like both Ruth and Eric have been working on their film for years, you know, their films for years and years and years. So yeah, it's all about the red carpet and the applaud, the audience enjoying. I love it. It's great.
That is great. Kara said you're also a master diorama builder, famous or Facebook Marketplace ace, an extraordinary party host. What can you tell us about those things? Because Conrad and I, we get pretty bored up here. We wouldn't mind a party planner on the.
Oh, you're more than welcome down, Conrad. You too. Take an hour south. I'll host you for sure. That's a lot. That's a lot. The diorama thing started with the I don't know if you know the Racine Art Museum. They put on the Peeps diorama competition every year.
Oh no.
They do. And now it's not a diorama, it's a competition. It's more of you have to incorporate Peeps into pieces of art, which isn't, I mean, the talent was off the charts. I misunderstood the assignment. I did not even place. But the fun of creating, I did a little Peeps diorama of a Peeps supper club, a sub-peeper club, if you will. And it was a lot of fun. And I feel like I've bitten into a Peep. And I think the best use of Peeps is in some sort of art as a material for a craft. But yeah, maybe people love Peeps. But yeah, that's where that come from.
I could not agree more. I look at a Peep and I'm like, I should enjoy this. It's covered with sugar.
Yeah.
But then you eat it. It's very unsatisfying, I must say.
Yeah, but it lasts for a few years. I feel like they don't expire.
Yeah, it's got like Twinkie-esque shelf life.
Right. Yeah.
So my guest is Mar Garvey. Mar, I'm going to ask you in just a minute. I want to give you a minute to think about this because what I do with people who come on the show is I ask them what they've been watching.
Sure.
And if there's anything they're binge watching or cringe watching, so we can get into that. And then I also want to ask you for a documentary you might recommend and your awards. You've won some awards. So that's kind of exciting. You're obviously a stellar producer if you're bringing home awards. So we'll talk about that too. If you can hang. Can you hang?
Absolutely.
All right. And one of these days I'll take you up on that. You got to come up to Green Bay and do an in-person thing because the studio needs more Irish as far as I'm concerned.
Love it. Everywhere does.
All right. That's Mar Garvey. She's coming up. More with her next on Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
That's what you get for waking up in Vegas. Get up and shake the glitter off your clothes now. That's what you get for waking up in Vegas. Why are these lights so bright? Did we get hitched last night? Dressed up like Elvis. Why am I wearing your class ring? Don't call your mother. Cause now we're partners in crime. Don't be a baby. Remember what you told me. Shut up and put your money where your mouth is.
Listening to the talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for the Devil's Advocates radio show.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and connected to your local community. Here's Terry Barr with the Civic Media Radio Network.
If it seems you are being asked to donate pretty often these days, Lisa Schiller with the Wisconsin Better Business Bureau says you probably are, and she's hearing from residents about it.
They're getting aggressive calls, they're getting mailers in the mail asking for donations, and they want to know where their money is going.
Schiller says ask questions and understand the difference between a political action committee, 527, and a nonprofit charity.
You have to really pay attention to name confusion. The use of the words police and firefighter, veterans, cancer. The name of the organization does not necessarily mean that the charity is engaged in these issues. And I think that's the important thing to remember.
Find more information at bbb.org.
with documentarian Mark Garvey, who works for Cartemquin Films in Chicago, and she is Milwaukee-based. Mar, how do you know when you have a winner in terms of a documentary film? Is it the subject matter? Is it the filmmaker? Or is it a combination of both? How do you know when you have a hit film or suspect that you might?
Sure. I mean, I feel like the term hit film is a bit of a, it's a bit of a minefield, because some people's hit film is it's on Netflix. Some people's hit film is success is they made it, But a lot of the work we do, because they're kind of social justice or films, we really look at, we take pretty serious topics, but we look at them from a very personal, community-based, firsthand experience and trying to tell that story. So for us, it's all about story. I feel like if you have a good story, no matter what the subject is, I mean, the docs that are out there, but everything, there's one on Pez, there's one on, all the way to true crime, all to the way to the ones we do. So, I mean, there's no sure bet, like there's definitely no formula, but it is definitely to do with story and character. Like once you have a story people are interested in hearing, that's a successful film to me, and it doesn't matter if it costs $50, doesn't matter if it costs 50 million. If the story isn't there and the characters aren't relatable and you can't feel yourself in them, or you can't recognize someone in them, then it's really not, it wouldn't resonate with any audiences, truly.
Can you, if you had to recommend two documentaries to people listening right now, maybe two that you haven't worked on that you just like as a fan, what would you recommend?
So one of my all-time favorites, and I actually watched it before, it is Cartemquin Films, but I didn't work on it. It was before my time, 1968, well before my time.
Yeah.
A film called Inquiring Nuns. And the film is about two nuns in Chicago, like I say, 1968, and they go around and just literally shove the mic in people's faces and ask them, are they happy? And then it is just this amazing piece of history. It is so relatable still, because I feel like if you did that now, on the streets of Green Bay, Milwaukee, Chicago, you'd get similar characters and you'd get maybe similar answers. But it's just incredible. Yeah. It's just an incredible film. I love it so much. It's my favorite of the Cartemquin films. And then, I don't know how rude words I can say on the radio, but there's one on Netflix called The Battered Bastards of Baseball. And it is one of my all-time favorite films. Like take out doc out of it. It's a doc. Yeah. It is about a ragtag baseball team that Kurt Russell's dad bought and was manager of. And it's just stunning. And it really? And it has, like you're saying, like, I'm not a massive baseball fan. I appreciate a good baseball uniform, but that's about as far as it goes. And I love the game in terms of the social aspect of it. It's a fun time, but I feel like when a good story is well told with great characters, the subject matter doesn't really, really matter. Like, you don't have to be a fan of what it's about. You don't have to know anything about what it's about. And this film, to me, is just like, when you talk about the perfect film, like, it has everything. It has suspense, it has relatable characters, it's sweet, it's funny, it's heartbreaking, and it's quite serious then in terms of, representation in sports, all the rest of it. So it's a great film. I highly, highly, highly recommend it.
Those are great answers, because what I'm fascinated by is sometimes when you watch an independent film, whether it's documentary or a narrative, sometimes if you're invested in the characters and the story, the production value doesn't always matter. It's like icing on a cake, but people want to be invested and they want to lose themselves in other people's lives or a great story. Yeah. Those are great answers. And I want to say that Nun film was at the Wisconsin Film Festival a few years ago. They might have done a restored print or something.
It could have been. It gets around, like, it's in the summer. It's going to be at a Philip Glass retrospective in the BFI in London. So it's a pretty, like, relatively in the independent doc world, it's a well-known film, but it is timeless. It is, and it's nearly over 50 years old. Yeah. So but it's just great.
That's crazy. So what awards have you won, Mar? Kara told me you won awards for your films. That's exciting.
It is exciting. They're Irish awards. So before I came,
Right.
I mean, the American awards were on my bucket list, as
Sure.
is appearing on local radio and local TV,
I hope so.
a Midwest Emmy maybe. So they were for films I worked on a film a few years ago called Atlantic with Brendan Gleeson, who
Oh,
was
great
in, Banshees of Inisherin. We love him. He's just a national treasure and must be protected at all costs. But we did this amazing project. It was about fishing communities and how fishing is affected with, cost of living and keeping fishermen in their jobs and all. But it took 3 communities. So it's Norway, Canada, Newfoundland in Canada, and Ireland. And it just looked at 3 comparable fishing communities out of the 3 countries and just kind of talked about the race for resources in our seas. And Brendan Gleeson did the narration for that. So when we were thinking about, who would be the voice of the sea, it was Brendan Gleeson. So
that's great.
Right. We were nominated and won a couple of awards for that. And actually that film did really well in the States as well, in Chagrin, Ohio. Shout out to Chagrin, Ohio, documentary film festival, one of the best in the land, I think.
Nice.
And a few awards of that. But yeah, I'll keep you posted on the awards that might be coming, hopefully, in this while I'm stateside.
I hope so. I feel like for you to roll the dice and come to America, it's just I hope you find whatever it is you want here. This is so great, and you're obviously making some pretty amazing films. So I'm glad you came on to share your story with us tonight and your accent. I love it.
Thanks.
You got to come back sometime, Mar, and I wish you luck at the film festival in a couple weeks. Go get them.
So much, Pete. This is a pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine. Have a great night, Mar. Thank you so much.
Take care. Thank you.
All right. That's filmmaker Mar Garvey. Check out her work. She will be at the Milwaukee Film Festival. She's got 2 films, Bike Vessel and No One Asked You. So look for those. And maybe she'll even do a Q&A. I should have asked her that. Conrad, I should have asked her that. I forgot to ask her if she's doing any Q&As. Those are the best parts about film festivals are the Q&As. So if you're in the Madison area, check out the Wisconsin Film Festival that opens this weekend. And 2 weeks from now, God
bless you.
Jeez. It's like I got a minute to go. I need the Heimlich maneuver. And the Milwaukee Film Festival is outstanding as well. We had some really solid film festivals here in the state of Wisconsin. So thank you to Mark Garvey. Thank you so much, On Stage for Cancer, for being here in the studio. Thanks for your texts and calls. As always, we will be back tomorrow night with more Nite Lite here on the Civic Media Radio Network. I'm Pete Schwaba. Good night, Wisconsin.